Saquon said, "Hey, y'all pay guys like me. I'm special. You draft guys like me, and I'm all for it, man. That running game, bro. I mean, they saying right now, granted he's played more games, but this is like the most rushing yards we've had in a regular, like in a season period for running backs. It's like Saquon is special. And we watching him in these playoff games. It's like, yo, he's still added to his niceness, man.
There's no doubt about that, but here's what I will say about Barkley, about even like a Derrick Henry, or whenever you saw like Christian McCaffrey going to the 49ers and being able to actually stay healthy for a full season. Like, those dudes are a part of either the great offensive schemes like McCaffrey was over with the Niners, or you got the quarterback. Like, Derrick Henry wasn't doing this with the Titans. Saquon Barkley wasn't doing this with the Giants. So, like, I think that's part of it too. Like, you got to have everything in sequence. Like, they got good O-lines as well. Almost like when Le'Veon Bell was here.
Yeah, the full gamut. The full gamut matters, man.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. Because you're not able to put these skills and showcase your talent like that unless you have the pieces around you, namely the quarterback, but also the O-line and the offensive weapon. But him bringing up, like, this is a passing league, like, that's actually part of why Saquon Barkley is doing that good, is because the Eagles do have a lot of threats through the air here. You got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Goddard.
Even with those weapons, we would all still agree that their mentality is still run first, though.
It definitely is.
Whereas we've seen teams that have a ton of weapons and their mentality is pass first, and we see that almost like as a detriment to some of those teams, and we're like, man, we probably should have ran it a little bit more. Whereas I think for Philly, they don't try to mix that up. They are a run the ball first team.
Still a great approach to winning
throw
games.
the football. Yeah, but you definitely are a run first team.
You need to be able to pass, because like if you don't, then the teams are just gonna be selling out on the run.
Yes and no. I think you need to be explosive in one way or the other.
You need to have that as an option at least.
Like whether you're an explosive pass,
you have to, because like how many times the Chiefs during some of these runs over the last how many years, Mahomes ain't putting up that many stats. No, some of these games they are very much run first, but the threat of Mahomes and the threat of them passing like that opens it up for the run game.
Yeah,
and you're just trying to, like, good teams like that, they don't care about how they do it. It's just we're trying to get the win.
Right, but even with that though, it's like, I get why Philly fans at times be frustrated, the same way you hear how Steelers fans get frustrated at times with the overall approach to it, because it's not as pretty at times. But when you execute it the way that Philly is executing it, that's the reason why they want to run the ball. That's the reason why Pittsburgh tries to run the ball, because it's like, if you can do that, you put these defenses in binds. You keep those great quarterbacks off the field and on the sideline, and now it opens up a chance for you to control the clock, minimize the turnover or the exposure to a turnover, while still, like you said, man, scoring points and stuff. And that's what, I mean, Philly is perfect at that. Buffalo started to do it. We obviously know Baltimore, they showed that they can do both in a major way this year. And Kansas City, that's what they've been doing since Mahomes has been there. But I think, obviously, with Kansas City, they, to me, still are the outlier in it, because to me, it's more they respect Mahomes so much that part is almost the scary element. Whereas with Philly, I don't know if they respect Hurts the same level they respect Mahomes, but they respect A.J. Brown
Hurts and Lamar,
Devonta,
both part of the run game. I think that's the difference too.
So it's like the way you have to like play them, you look at them differently, but still highly effective in terms of the stress it puts on the defense. And that's the part, like I said, for the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, that's what that is. It makes you play 11 on 11, and defenses aren't structured to do that at the NFL level. But typically, most quarterbacks at this level, they can't do both at a high level. It's either you're an elite passer and you're an okay runner, or you're an elite runner and you're an okay passer. Most recently, you start getting these, he's either elite at this and really, really good at this, or now they trying to be elite at both, and that's when you get those unicorns, so to speak. Phils has the characteristics to be that same type of unicorn, but to get that gap to where it's elite here and elite there, that's the ground that he has to cover. That's the ground that he has to make up for.
Yeah, like if you look at our wild card game against the Ravens, if you're running for 300 yards, it doesn't really have to be a Lamar Jackson type of game.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
You don't have to worry about airing it out and stuff. Like I think that's what Philly's rocking with too. If they're able to run it, cool. Even better, because I think that's a great way to win in the modern, even though it is very much like a passing league, to still be able to run the ball, force your will on the opposing team, control the clock, just control the game from that standpoint. Like That can be really debilitating.
But the difference also with those two teams in terms of Philly and Baltimore specifically is they got home run threats at running back. So from a fan's perspective, you still can stay engaged. Whereas right now for us, our home run is Warren, but Warren isn't primary back, so we don't get a lot of exposure to the home run. So ours doesn't feel as prolific. It doesn't feel as explosive. And
well, we had our chance to get Henry, and we passed.
Trust me, I'm with you on all of that. And I think this offseason we will see if they take similar, if they have similar decisions with Najee versus going a completely different direction with the style of running back. Because to me, that's the difference. We have the same mentality. We have the same infrastructure as those teams, but our version of explosive doesn't touch their version of explosive.
It's not even close
right
now.
And I think that's the big difference. With the Chiefs, they don't have that explosive running game, but they have the elite level Mahomes passing, decision making, and all the stuff that comes with that. With the Bills, you got James Cook, but you also got Josh Allen in his legs. Same with Washington. It's like Brian Robinson is good, but you got Jaden Daniels that you got to worry about as well. So now it's not just one. It's the combination of it that makes it a lot more explosive. We just don't have that explosiveness. With Fields, we felt like, okay, now you got the home run threat running the ball at quarterback, but now you still got to get the passing part.
Yeah, you could go either direction here. With Russ, what we were trying to do is be like a Mahomes-style offense, even though they still do some of those RPOs, not to the degree that I guess you would look at with the Ravens or Eagles or anything like that. But you look at the Russ style, you're trying to have him be like a Mahomes, a Burrow.
Yeah, getting it out rhythm on time. Yeah.
And Russ ain't on any of those guys' level.
Right.
Now with Fields, you'd be looking at the Ravens or the Eagles style of offense. And I don't think, to your point, I don't think Fields is exactly where, or even like a Jaden Daniels, I don't think he's on the level of Lamar, Hurts, Jaden Daniels right now. But it's man, we got the 6 games. I'd like to see a full season with Fields, because again, if Hurts is able to do it, why can't Fields?
It's easy to say that, but Fields isn't a rookie either. So Fields has had multiple opportunities. Now, granted, different setting and all the other stuff, but to act as if Fields has never had an opportunity to do these things, I think isn't right, because we've seen him. This was the redemption arc. This is can you prove at whatever point that you can definitively be that guy? And we all agreed that even though he played really well and the best we probably have seen him play, we still felt that the door was partially left open. Hence the reason why we went to Russ, and why there was a time in them first 5 games of Russ where a lot of us felt extremely good about Russ. So that's my only thing with Fields. I think that he's definitely capable, because like you said, he is the closest thing right now, at least on our roster, and that's available free agency wise, that is like those type of dudes. He's the closest thing to.
So if we're talking about being more explosive on offense, being more electric, Russ is just going to be getting older. So I don't see him closing the gap with Mahomes or Burrow or Herbert, any of those style of quarterbacks. Whereas Fields is at 25, and I still think has a ton of upside. If we give him the full season, we'll get an answer. Because I think that's the case whenever you're talking about last year. Even though he left the door open, we only gave him 6 games. Whereas Hurts, whenever he got his opportunity, he did get that full season. And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't perfect or anything, but 9-8, it was enough for the Eagles to feel like they could build around him going forward, and then you saw what happened.
No, that's valid, man. It's definitely valid.
Yeah. Either way, we got to be better on offense. Clearly, we got to get better on. We just got to get better across the board. It's because we're not. I don't think we're even in the ballpark of some of these teams that we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
I say, by the way, Philly kicking butt up front. That's how we're supposed to be doing it. That's what I like. When we think of the money we spent, it should look like that. Like, y'all are gonna have issues dealing with us just up front. When we brought in PQ, same convo. It's like the anticipation or the expectation was, man, the same way they talking about Zach Bond being a defensive player of the year finalist, like, you supposed to be one of them same type of dudes that we were seeing here have like the crazy uptick in production, which he's definitely capable of. But I think that that's where we are as a whole right now. It's like we got pieces here, but what they did last year, we're going to need even more if we're going to go to where we want to. Because if we're just trying to be good, we've already proven that you're good. 10 wins is good. You're NFL good. Like, that's not a debate. Regardless of what fans might say, NFL, you're good. But to be great, which is the teams that are playing in the championship, the AFC championship, the NFC championship, the Super Bowl, to be great, that's a different level of focus, a different level of sacrifice, a different level of intensity that has to come with that. And unfortunately, the results have shown that we haven't been doing enough of that top down, coaching staff wise to players. Until we actually do that, man, yeah, we're gonna kind of be in this cycle right here.